Right, so this is what we done last week. Okay, so what last week I talked about was, we talked about the 9 types of words, ism mu'rabs. Okay, so Abu Zayd, Al-Qadi, Kitabi, 233, Fir'aun, Muslimi, and I explained a little about the vowels there. So this is the summary. If you understand this, you're going to understand what he's talking about. Okay, so if you look in the book, if you go down, okay, so right, if you look at this now, it says Babu Ma'rifati Alamat al-I'rab. So basically what he's done, he's explained all of what I've said and a bit more, but he's explained in a different way. Okay, so what he's done, he's gone through the 4 types. So he first of all explains the Rafa. Okay, he explains Rafa. So this is the Rafa. So he explains that. And then he explains the Nasab. Nasab. And then he explains the Jar, or he calls it the Khafad. Okay, so Jar. And finally he has another category which is called the Jazm. Okay, so he's got 4 categories he's got. Okay, 4 categories. So you got Jazm, you got the Jar, and you got the Nasab. So these are 4 categories he talks about. So in the Rafa, he says this. Basically, he says Rafa can be done with 3 things. Yeah, so let me just break that down. So number 1, he says Rafa can be done with Damma. Yeah, with the symbol Damma. This symbol. That's what Rafa can be done with. Yes, that's number 1. Number 2, he says Rafa can be done with a waw sometimes. Wa. Yeah, so sometimes a waw can be used to do Rafa. Number 3, sometimes an alif, alif can be used to do Rafa. And number 4, the last one, he says sometimes a noon can be used to show Rafa. So this is what he says. So I'm explaining it like he's explained it. So when we go through the book or through the text, it's going to make more and more sense, inshallah. Okay, and if you guys have any questions, like I said, you can put them in the comments as well. So there's basically, yeah, so basically there's I don't know, are you guys, can you guys see it? Is it working? Okay, I'm sorry, I don't know, maybe it's the internet connection or something. So if it does happen, then you're just gonna have to follow the recordings, inshallah. So there's Damma, there's Waw, there's Alif, and there's Noon. Okay, so for Damma he says this. So today we'll just cover Rafa. Right, so let me do it in a different color. So he says Damma, there's 4 types of words that use a Damma to show Rafa state. Yeah, 4 types of words. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, 4 types of words that use a Damma to represent the Rafa state. The first one, he calls it an Ism Mufrad. Now, I just want to bring you back to the table, Aidan. Yeah, if you notice Rafa, out of these 9, which one uses Damma? Yeah, so Damma is used by this. It's used by this. Yeah, that's it really. Yeah, just these 2. Although that uses Damma. Yeah, you can say, I mean, I mean, that is Damma, but these are the two main ones that use Damma. Zayd pattern and the ×3 feminine. So Zayd pattern basically refers to two types, Ism Mufrad and Jama Mukassar. Yeah, Ism Mufrad and Jama Mukassar. So Ism Mufrad simply means any sort of single noun. Yeah, any sort of single noun, like for example Bait, that's Ism Mufrad. Zayd, that's Ism Mufrad. Kitab, that's Ism Mufrad. Sayyara, that's Ism Mufrad. All the single words that you can think of in your head, yeah, Ism Mufrads. Yeah, so they take Dhammas. Okay, Jama Mukassar means any sort of plural which is a non-sound plural, or what you call a broken plural. Yeah, so a broken plural is any plural where from the original shape, from the original word, the shape has been broken. Okay, the sequencing of letters has been broken. Okay, so for example, like if you have the word bait, for instance. Okay, or actually I'll use it here. You guys can all see this. If you have the word bait, the plural of bait is buyut. Now notice what's happened. This sequence of wording bayata has been disrupted by a waw. Therefore, this buyut is called a jama mukassar. Kitab, yeah, the plural of kitab is kutub. Kutub. So this sequence of letters, notice the alif is missing there. So that's called mukassar. Okay, so mukassar is any non-sound or or you call it broken plural. So these two. So for example, like let's say if you said kutub, you'd say kutubun, buyutun, etc. Okay, so these are represented, Rafa is represented with Dhammas in these cases. Okay, number 3 is a Jama Mu'annath Salim. Jama Mu'annath Salim. So Jama Mu'annath Salim is basically any feminine plural which has alif ta at the end. Alif ta, you know, alif the big ta. Yeah, like for example, sayyarat. Yeah, sayyara, the plural is sayyarat. Notice you put the alif ta at the end. So if you see this alif ta at the end of any sort of word, which is a plural, that's a sign that that is sound feminine plural. So in other words, if you had, for example, the word mu'minat, believing women, you'd show the rafa with Damma. Rafa will be shown with Damma. Okay, so you got 3 words there. And finally, he has a 4th type, which he mentions. Okay, this 4th type is, I didn't cover it in the table. It's fi'al mudari'. Okay, fi'al mudari'. So fi'al mudari', yeah, fi'al mudari' is a present verb. So all present verbs follow certain patterns. Okay, all present verbs follow certain patterns. So present verbs, they have certain symbols at the end of them. Okay, certain signs at the end of them. So for example, like yaktubu. So notice at the end it has tu, yaktubu. So fi'l mudari's that have this at the end, basically, so that's a rafa. Yeah, that's the symbol in the rafa state. But it doesn't always have this, because sometimes a fi'l mudari' might have alif noon at the end. It might be something like yaktubani. It's got alif noon. Or it might be yaktubuna. So yaktubu means he is writing, yaktubani means they both are writing, and yaktubuna means they all are writing. So these two are not symbols for plural. Sorry, these two are not symbols for rafa. Yeah, rafa symbols for them are going to come alif noon and the noon at the end, number 3. Yeah, so they're going to be mentioned over here and over here respectively. Okay, so these are not on there, but those plurals that have a Damma at the end, yeah, that's the Rafa state. So these are 4 that he mentions, okay, which are a symbol, which are shown with the symbol of. Okay, next. Right, the next is Waw now. So Waw, there's only 1 for Waw. Or well, actually, there's 2 for Waw. I've done them in the table. So notice the Rafa with the Waw, one is this one. So let me do a different color. Let me do it in red. Okay, so one is this one, and one is this one. Yeah, one is that one. Now, even though I said una there, ignore the noon. It's the Waw that we're really looking at. Yeah, so the Waw and the noon. So in the Abu words, Abu, Akhu, yeah, Hamu, Zu, Fu, and U, which is sound masculine plural. So in these 2, what you get basically is number 1 is, these are known as the, he calls in the Asma Khamsa, the 5 words. These are 5 words in Arabic that follow a particular pattern. Yeah. Now let me just give you a little example of this. You know, in Arabic, when you say father, if you say father, there's 3 words you can use for father. One is Abu, one is Aba, and one is Abi. They both mean all the same thing. Abu, Aba, but it's written in 3 ways. So when it's in the Abu, when it has the Waw at the end, this is a sign that it's Rafa. Yeah, when it has Aba, that's a sign it's a Nasab. And when it has Abi, that's a sign it's a Jar. So the one that he's talking about is this first type. And there's 4 other types of words which follow this pattern. And they're all known as the Asma Khamsa, the 5 names. Yeah, because they're 5 of them, 5 members. Yeah, and they all follow this pattern: Abu, Aba, Abi, Akhu, Akha, Akhi. Yeah, so they all follow that. So anyway, that's with that symbol. And the second word which uses Waw as a Rafa symbol is Jama Mudhakkar Salim. Mudhakkar Salim. Yeah, Jama Mudhakkar. So remember we had Jama Muannath Salim that had an alif ta at the end. Well, Jama Mudhakkar Salim, right? This basically is a sound plural, like for example, Muslimuna. Muslimuna. So this is a sound plural because its sound, the original shape, Muslim, stays the same. Yeah. All you have to do is add the una at the end. So this Waw here represents a symbol for Rafa. Yeah. There's 2 ways you can write the word Muslims. One is Muslimuna, and the other way you can write it is Muslimina. So Muslimina is either in the Rafa or Nasab state. Yeah, but this is not the Rafa state. Muslimuna is the Rafa state. Muslimuna is. The Muslimina we're going to mention in the Nasab state and the Jar state. Okay, so that's two there for the Waw. Okay, Alif. Let me choose a different color. Let me just check your guys' comments as well. See if you guys are still following. Yeah, so Mudari is actually Rafa. I didn't mention it in the table, but Mudarits can also be Rafa as well. Yeah, fails can also be Rafa and Nasab, but not Jar. Remember we said they can't be Jar. Okay, so the next one, Alif. There's only 1 word that takes Alif in Arabic, okay, as a sign of Rafa, and that is dual. Yeah, dual. So anything dual in Arabic. Okay, when you have dual in Arabic, so dual is represented with an alif, noon. Okay, whether it's a dual, noun, like for example, if I say kitab, if I want to make it into a dual, I say kitabani. I add an alif and a noon at the end. Kitabani. So that alif noon at the end represents the Rafa state. Yeah, the Rafa state. And likewise a verb as well. So for instance, let's say I had the verb when we did above, this one over here. Yeah. So that is also a dual as well. يكتبان. Yeah, يكتبان. Okay, and finally, the last one, let's do this in a light blue color, is noon, right? Noon, this is for, actually, yeah, actually this is not, this is, yeah, he counts yaktubani amongst the noon one, so ignore what I just said there about the yaktubani. Yeah, yaktubani, this is actually comes under the noon one, so ignore that. So noon, this is fi'l mudari. This only applies to fi'l mudari, present verb, and there's 5 of them. Yeah, five present verbs where the noon applies. Okay, and they are as follows. Okay, one is like for example, yaktubani. Number 2, taktubani. Oops, taktubani. Number 3, yaktubuna. Number 4, taktubuna. And number 5, taktubina. Tubina. Yeah. So you know, if you do gardans, if you learned sarf in the gardan style, 14, the list of 14. So basically it's number 2, number 5, number 3, number 9, and number 10 in the list. Yeah. So those are the basic ones. So any verb which comes under these patterns, yaktubani, they two males are writing. Taktubani, they two females or you two females are writing. Yaktubuna, they all males are writing. Taktubuna, you all males are writing. Taktubina, you one female is writing. Yeah, so all these 4, Rafa is represented with the noon at the end. I said Alif and that was my mistake. Okay, so delete that, but it's the noon. So you got noon over here, 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 you got noon over here. If there's another state or nasab state, these noons are dropped off. That's going to come in nasab and jazm state. Okay, so these are basically the 5 that he refers to. Okay, 5 verbs. Okay, so this is basically the first part of the lesson, and let's look at the text now and try to apply what he's saying, inshallah. Okay, and then we'll finish. Okay, so if you look at the text, right, he says this. He says, للرفع 4 علامات. Rafa has 4 symbol signs: Damma and Waw, Alif and Noon. Okay, these are 4 symbols. فأما الضمة, as for Damma, so this is what we've done today. Well, part of what we did today. علامة للرفع في 4 مواضع. Yeah, so Damma is used, the Damma. So let me just highlight that. Highlighter. Blue. So Damma is used. Yeah, he's saying في 4 مواضع. في اسم مفرد بالنهاية. Yeah. في والجمع تكسير, جمع مكسر, he calls it جمع تكسير, broken plural. والجمع مؤنث سالم, and in جمع مؤنث سالم. والفعل المضارع, and the فعل المضارع الذي لم يتصل بآخره شيء, which has nothing extra added to the end of it. Yeah, which has nothing added to the extra at the end of it. This is something that you do in sarf, that you can attach extra words to it, like nun thaqila. Yeah, so he's talking about that. أما الواو, as for waw, فتكون علامة للرفع. So let me change the color of this. Waw can be a sign, a symbol for rafa في موضعين, in 2 places. في الجمع مذكر سالم, so I did the other way around. وفي الأسماء الخمسة, and the 5 names. Yeah, 5 words. أبوك, your father. أخوك, your brother. حموك, your brother-in-law. وفوك, your mouth. ذو مال is possessor of wealth. Yeah, these are the Abu, Akhu, Hamu, Fu, and Dhu. So these are the 5. And notice they all have waw there. And then he says, the next one, he says, وَأَمَّا الْأَلِف, as for alif, فتكون علامة للرفع التثنية الأسماء خاصة. These are only signs in رفع in dual nouns only. خاصة only. Yeah, so dual nouns only. وأما النون, as for noon, yeah, over here, where is the noon symbol? This. So as for noon, تكون علامة is a sign of رفع في الفعل المضارع, in a فعل مضارع إذا اتصل به ضمير تثنية. Yeah, so it's in فعل مضارع if it has إذا اتصل به ضمير التثنية. So the ضمير التثنية is this ألف نون and ألف نون ده تثنية, أو ضمير الجمع تكتبون with a واو نون to there, أو ضمير المؤنث المخاطبة, or the ضمير of the feminine addressee. Yeah, these 5. So this basically what I've just read from here is a summary. I've drawn it out, summary of this. I hope that makes sense. And like I said, the table is easy to follow. Yeah, the table that I've drawn. And next week, inshallah, we'll do nasab, jar, and jazm. So the table Abu Zayd al-Qadi. If you remember that, you can really understand a lot of it. Okay, now that's the lesson basically, what it's all about. However, I want to show you in the Quran application of this. So it's good to apply it to Quran as well. Okay, so for example, like over here, alhamdu. So notice alhamdu, there's a Damma there. Yeah, alhamdu. So that Damma, this is a symbol, like he says, Rafa, and this is the single Ism Mufrad. Okay, Na'budu, the Damma there, this is the one which is at the end of a fi'l. Yeah, fi'l mudari. That we said, the Damma at the end of fi'l mudari. Nasta'inu, this is the Damma which is at the end of a fi'l mudari. If we go a bit down, Al-Kitabu, Ism Mufrad. Yu'minuna, this is the last one, the 4th one that we said. Okay, Noon at the end. So this is the Waw Noon attached to the end of a fi'l mudari. Yuqimuna, the same. Yunfiquna, the same. Yu'minuna, the same. All these are the same. Yuqinuna is the same. Okay. Muflihuna, this is sound masculine plural. Yeah, over here when it says wow in 2 places, Jam'a Mudhakkar Salim. Yeah, so Jam'a Mudhakkar Salim is applied over here. Okay, Sawa'un, this is Ism Mufrad. Khatamallahu, Ism Mufrad. So you can go through the Quran. Adhabun, Ism Mufrad. Adhimun, Ism Mufrad. Yaqulu, this is the verb. Yeah. Fi'l mudari, alladhi lam yattasil bi akhiri shay. You can actually go through the entire page of a Quran, and using this diagram or using the book itself, figure out the rules and apply them. So when you start applying them, you learn them quicker as well. So you can do that. Maybe you can send it to me or something, inbox it to me or email it to me, inshallah, and I'll have a look at it as well, inshallah. Okay, so have a go at that, inshallah. Try and apply that. Hope that makes sense. Try to make it as easy as possible. And if you have any questions, you can leave them in the comments as well. Jazakumullah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.